If you're thinking about moving in the next year, I've got a couple different actions that you're gonna take. Now, in this video, there are a ton of resources. So I'm gonna have them down in the description below. They are all over our website and blog. A lot of different stuff going on in this video, but I promise by the end of it, you're gonna have one or two resources that you can use to make your move next year or the year after much easier. My name is Stubbs. I am a team leader and owner here at Onyx Homes, and this video is specifically gonna talk to if you're looking to buy your first home, if you're looking to sell your property, or if you're looking to buy and sell at the same time. And I have a ton of different resources, so let's dive right in. There's a lot of information here. Now, the real estate market has absolutely changed since 2020. And really it's been, even in the last year or two, there's been so much change in the market that if you're not on top of these new strategies, you really might be hurting yourself when going to make a move the next time you do. I'll dive into each of these categories, but if you wanna skip to the one that is speaking to you, I'll put the times on the screen and in the description down below so you can skip right to the one that makes the most sense for you. Buying your first home. If you're in this boat, this is definitely gonna be for you, and I've got a lot of different resources here. So I've got notes over here that I wanna make sure I don't miss anything. But the first thing is, if you're buying your first home, you've probably already made the decision, or you're thinking about it, to buy versus renting or continuing to rent. So the first resource I have for you is a extremely comprehensive rent versus own guide. I spent a ton of time putting this together, and it's something we didn't put out publicly because frankly, it was so much information. If you're watching this video, you can go take a look at it. It's the rent versus own guide. It breaks down the 6 most common questions that renters are asking when thinking about purchasing a property. So it talks about maybe you should rent, and it also talks about all the financial benefits and more of home ownership. So that's the first thing. The second thing I have on here is affordability is the #1 question. So we did another video and article on this a few months back, and I definitely think that's something to take a look at. And this is the biggest concern right now, is what is the affordability for the home? So I got 2 different tools for you here. First and foremost is a mortgage calculator. Now this is pretty simple. There's a link on our website that also has another video on just how to use it, but it's pretty straightforward. You can plug in your purchase price. Hopefully you have an idea of what your interest rate would be, and you can play around with the numbers and see what the payment turns into. You can plug in 5%, 3%, 10%, 20%, 50% down payment, change around the price and the interest rate, and you can see where your comfort zone is. I would take this information and I would get that comfort price and I would plug it into SoCalHomesForSale.com, get your saved search going so that you can start getting an idea of what do the homes look like that we are comfortable affording. Now, if you don't know what you're comfortable affording, you probably know how much you can spend, but you might not know what you qualify for. And if you're not ready to talk to a lender, we built another tool for you that we call our affordability calculator. This is also on our website, linked below, and you can go to this, and what it'll do is it'll allow you to put your total household income, the gross before taxes income. Make sure you watch the video on that page so you can see how to specifically do that. This one's a little bit more complicated, but you put in your total gross monthly income, annual income it is, and then the next thing below is what are your total debts, your monthly debts, maybe it's annual debts. But this is gonna be the things that show up on your credit report on top of like your car payment. You wouldn't have a house payment if you're renting, but you'd put that in there, and anything else that shows up on your credit report. For example, what wouldn't show up is your gym membership, your Spotify, or anything like that. So this will give you an idea of what you will likely qualify for based on your income. Now, what this won't do is it won't go into credit. There's so many variables here, but it'll give you a good starting point. Obviously, with mortgage calculator and affordability calculator, you're better talking to a lender, but if you're not quite there yet, it's a really good starting point. So once you have your home search set up on SoCal Homes for Sale and you're thinking about moving in the next 12 months, the next thing I would highly recommend doing is setting up a strategy session with one of our local experts. This is where we go through what our clients are doing to take advantage of the market, how we keep you protected through the entire process, and how to get the best deal possible under whatever the circumstances are. This is something that our clients have found super valuable, whether they've even bought or not, but all of our clients that close on a transaction say that doing that strategy session was super helpful, and it made them feel more comfortable through the process. So I'd highly recommend doing that as well too. So those are the resources that I have for you as a first-time home buyer, and I hope you found all that information helpful. All right, so now let's move on to selling your home. So the first thing that I'm gonna mention under this category is that if you're selling your property and you bought it, let's say more than a year or 2 ago, you're probably sitting on a tremendous amount of equity. And if you didn't read our article about our golden handcuffs that a lot of homeowners are experiencing right now, I'd highly recommend doing that. Otherwise, this video would be 2 hours long. So that was a really interesting article about the amount of people that have so much equity. In order to understand understand equity, we have to understand what our home is worth minus what we owe on the property, and that is the equity in the home. One of the major ways that people are doing this is through online estimates. So we have one on our website, and I'll get to that in a second, but a lot of people are looking at Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com and using that estimate as the gold standard of that is for sure what their home's worth, and that is wrong. So I wrote another article on why that is, so I'll put that in the link down in the description below as well too. But just understand that because you looked at your estimate, that is not what your home's worth, at least not exactly. So here's how we handle online estimates, because I understand you don't want to go do an appraisal, which I have my own feelings about that, and you probably don't want to have an agent come out to your house just to figure out what it's worth. So I understand why the Zillow estimate or Redfin and all that is just easy. We go one step further. If you go to SoCalHomesForSale.com and you click market analysis or free market analysis, what you're going to do is you're going to type in your address and you're going to give us a little bit of information, basic stuff about your home. You're going to get an automated valuation of your home, just like these other websites, except we gathered a little bit more information. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have our local expert go through and give you a custom analysis on your property. So based on the information you shared, any information we can find, or any additional information you give us, we're going to give you a really good idea of what your home's worth. Now, if you want to go one step further from there, you can even do a walkthrough with the agent. They can say, hey, if you're selling in the next year or two, you could do this, this, and this, and it could really affect your home's value. All right, and last but not least, and the most complicated, is buying and selling at the same time. So with this one here, this is where you are selling your property and buying your next one. Now, if you're in a position where you can buy your next home first and then sell your home and pay yourself back, that's an awesome position to be in. Most of the time when we're talking with people who are in your situation, they have to sell their current home in order to buy the next one. So the first resource I have for you is our Buy Before You Sell program. This is something where it allows you to take the equity out of your current home. You can go buy your new property non-contingent, so you can negotiate a better deal on your buy side. And then after you move into your new home, we would list and sell your old home, and then you would get all the money out of it as well too. What this does is allows you to negotiate that best deal possible on your selling property, meaning the property you're buying, and it allows you to be moved out of your home. So those little repairs that are just kind of a pain or upgrades that when you're living there, not to mention showing a property that's vacant, is so much easier. So oftentimes our clients that are taking advantage of this situation are getting a better deal on the buy, and we're doing those little things to the house that are going to raise the value the most, so you can sell it for more money and you don't have to deal with the aggravation of living in your house while it's being sold. So if you get a little bit better deal on the buy and you can sell it for a little bit more, this adds a tremendous amount of value to our clients, and they don't have the aggravation of doing both at the same time. Now, it's not the end of the world if you're doing that, but this tool has been super beneficial for a lot of clients. Now, again, if you're not going to go that route, what I highly recommend is getting your agent involved way sooner than you're thinking. You want to make sure that your home is absolutely ready to go on the market, and you're narrowing down your home search at the same time, so that if that right property pops up, you're able to act on it quickly. So there's a lot of information we've made on this, but if you're in this boat, I highly recommend reaching out. Now, I know this was a ton of information. I believe there are 6 resources that I mentioned that are all linked down below, and a few extra articles as well too. So this might be one of those videos you bookmark, you go back to later. Those resources are all something that are super helpful, but at the end of the day, reaching out to us to share with you how we feel based on your situation we can help is something that you should definitely think about doing sooner than later. A lot of the times clients don't want to waste our time or don't want to bother, whatever it is. This is our job, is to consult our clients through the process. So feel free to reach out. As always, my name's Christian. I hope you liked the video. If you did, like it, share it with somebody else who you think might also like it, and I'll see you in the next video.